What do you think at any given time the universe is telling you? Before we go too far into this whole, philosophical conversation, um, it's pretty simple. You're not listening at this point. There's something going on that the universe is trying to explain to you. The universe is trying to tell you you're meant for. The universe is trying to show you a path. And it kind of correlates a little bit. It kind of correlates a little bit with my previous episode about fear. Sometimes it's brought to you by fear because that's the most prominent way that you'll understand the situation, or you'll get the most from that situation. But listening to the universe can be a really intense thing once you figure out how to do it and figure out what you're doing. I mean, this comes down to meditation. It comes down to being in tune with yourself. It also comes down to a lot of other things. It comes down to noticing it. It comes down to not being so crazy busy that everything flies past you, so you're not going to notice it anyway. When I was growing up, I had issues with my legs from my knees all the way down to my feet. I was born pigeon-toed with my feet turned in like that, and I had casts put on my legs when I was younger. When I was pretty much from the time that I was born to correct them. And ever since then, throughout my entire life, my legs are bowed, my knees are off center, my back hurts, my hip gets misaligned sometimes, my ankles roll. There's a ton of problems, and my mother one day actually parked a car on my foot. It's not as dramatic as it sounds. She thought I was in the car, and she didn't believe me. It was actually hysterical at the time. But I said, "Mom," I yelled from the back of the car when she started backing it up. And she opened the window. She was like, "What? Get in the car." I said, "I can't." I tried to pull my foot out. I said, "I can't. My foot's under the wheel." And she started laughing at first. She just didn't believe that what was going on. And I think it was like a laugh of shock. And so I stepped back and I tried to pull my foot out, and I said, "No, you're on my foot." And so she rolled forward and everything was fine. And then I think within the same year, I started having issues with ingrown toenails on that foot. And it's not at the cause of my mother parking on my toe. It's at the cause of nothing got broken or anything. I was not injured, blah, blah, blah. It was just something that was dormant that was meant to happen when it happened. And my mom always blamed herself for parking on my foot, and that's where all the issues with that started, which is not true. But I just decided to share the story because I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, when I was about 17, I think, I used to have a lot of problems with ingrown toenails. Didn't matter how I cut them, how I groomed myself, how I did anything with them. They always happen. And most of the time, all it took was me stubbing my toe. I was not overweight. I was very fit at the time. And I had to get 7 or 8 surgeries on each big toe because I always had issues with it. And I finally told the doctor, I said, "I cannot keep doing this. I can't keep going months at a time, playing around, trying to get the nail cut out and get the nerves taken out and all that other stuff. I can't keep doing that." So they bought me, or they gave me these inserts that are $500, and they're never covered by insurance as far as I experience. And what they do is they help stop my foot from rolling. My ankles roll. So they help stop my foot from rolling inward, which my body's used to doing at this point, and leaning all the pressure on what my big toe would be to push the nail and have it grow into my foot. Anybody that is grossed out by this point, I apologize, but there's a point to it. After that point, I was 17 at the time. I started wearing these shoe inserts, and my walking was fine, and everything was great. And then 5 years after that, from just wear and tear, these inserts that I would wear deteriorated, just started falling apart. So I chucked them. I threw them out. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Oh, the problem's solved. I haven't had issues in a long time." And then I think it was 2 or 3 years later, I couldn't walk at one point. It was so painful. I never know how to pronounce this, so forgive me. But I had plantar fasciitis. It felt like somebody was ripping the tendons out of the bottom of my foot, and it was extremely painful. Every morning was like a good half hour, 45 minutes of walking around on my hands, trying to get around to the bathroom, trying to get around to the kitchen, get ready for my work day. And then slowly, like, I'd be able to start walking on it as long as I didn't sit down again. And it was a huge pain. It was ridiculous. But that's when I realized that I needed to go back to wearing these inserts. So I've been with them for a while, and long story, not short. I was looking for a way to be free of these, and I was looking for a way to. I was feeling like there was no answer to the situation, like there's not something that I can do to correct the problem or fix it or whatever, and there is something that I could have done, and I learned that through the personal training that I've received. I've learned it through learning how the bones work together, learning how the muscles work together, and learning that you can correct a lot of these things. You can correct a lot of these situations with how your body stands if you're bow-legged, and how your knees support your body, and how you can exercise these parts to really function properly. And it was just so interesting that it took 20 some odd years for me to finally learn this. But like I said in one of my previous posts, I was never the type to think that I was good enough to learn this information, so I never pursued it. If I had went and learned this a long time ago, I probably could have done something about it a lot sooner. So the point to all this is that in a roundabout way, the universe was giving me what I needed for a question that I didn't even know I was asking. And my question to you is, what do you think the universe could be telling you? And are you listening? Because it could be a life-changing situation that you're completely just not understanding or not seeing. And that's perfectly fine. It happens. But when it does happen, it's going to be powerful, and it's going to hit you in a way that's going to really resonate with you. If you want, check out my website, check out my webpage. My links are in the show notes and everything. I said it a million times before. We can work together. I'll help train you with fitness, nutrition, lifestyle balance, anything that you might need help with. I can give you the support that you need. Regardless of what's on my website, get in touch with me. We'll talk about pricing. We'll talk about what the process would be, and we'll come up with a plan that will work for you because it's designed with me by you. And we'll go from there. Have a good one, guys.